the Gulf Stream.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Squalls out on the Gulf Stream. Big storm coming soon. Oh my goodness. We possibly have a hurricane heading our way here to Orlando. Not a direct hit, but if it maintains the current path, we're going to be on the dirty side of the hurricane, as they call it. That's the northeast, east, and southeast sides of the hurricane. If you ever do go through a hurricane, you want to be on the western side of it, where it's the cleaner area. The east side, for whatever reason, gathers up the most tropical storm force conditions, the most potential tornadic conditions, the heaviest winds and rains, while the west side doesn't really have a whole lot of anything. So we're going to be giving you a few updates throughout the next 24 hours, and I'll show you what to do to check on those updates if you are here as a guest, okay? Because honestly, everybody, you all do need to pay attention to this system. This is one of those constantly evolving storms. These are the ones that make people that have lived in the South and that know these type of storms. This is the kind of storms that make people a little nervous because of how fast it's literally changing. You know, a couple days ago, this was only supposed to bring us a little tropical weather and then be done. Now we're talking major hurricane. So things can change at a moment's notice. So if you are here visiting, I'm going to show you some things to check and how you can keep you and your family safe while we kind of ride this thing out. And also have a plan B and a plan C just in case things go really bad and you need to seek shelter, or find a place to keep everybody safe for a while. Because the biggest problem with these storms are the intense winds, the heavy rains, and the potential for tornadoes. Already we're starting to get the outer wind bands. I don't know if you can see around me here a little bit, but you can probably hear the wind gusts through the wind muff on the microphone here. So yeah, it's starting to pick up. We're not supposed to see anything till later this afternoon and tonight, but like I said, I'll show you how to keep up to date on all this stuff and keep you and your family safe while you're here on vacation. If you live here, start getting preparations, just in case. Best case scenario is you don't need to do anything, but hey, you got everything ready. So like in firefighting, for those big fires or a big time incident, I would always call for mutual aid, meaning I'm calling for help, and when we get there, if we find out we don't need it, we can just turn everybody around. Much easier to turn everybody around than to get there and go, holy shit, we're in it deep now, I need help, and it's going to be a while before help gets here. So always best to be prepared. Anyway, welcome to Seaworld Orlando, everybody. I decided to come out here today because if you remember from my vlog I did at home, there is a brand new ride coming next year themed to the wild Arctic, and I think I'm going to say 99.99999.5% sure I know where this ride is going, and I think it's a great idea if my assumptions or my guesses are correct. Again, don't like assuming things, so you know what that means. But my guess is I know where this is going, and if they put this over there, this is going to be a fantastic addition. I cannot wait. So what I thought we would do today is we'll go over there and I'll show you the area where I think it's going to go and why, my personal opinion, that this is a fantastic area for this new attraction. If you remember from my vlog at home, they're going to do, or SeaWorld Orlando announced, they're going to do a first of its kind flying Arctic theater. I've done some flying theaters. Again, Soarin' at Epcot is probably one of the more famous ones that people know about. There's a few that have been built around the country and around the world. I think Las Vegas, New York, the Great Smoky Mountains, the island in Pigeon Forge has one, and Legoland, Florida, they have one as well called Masters of Flight, and they all have their different take on how this thing works. So there's a million different ways that these flying theaters can work. So I'm very curious as to how they're going to do this. So I'm going to go over there, we'll check it out and see how this is going to work, and kind of show you how this is going to tie into everything over in that area absolutely perfectly. As I said before, or like they said in The Big Lebowski, that rug really tied the room together, did it not? So without wasting any more time, let's get our ass in gear. Let's get into the, well, I'm already in the park, but let's get over to the area where I believe this new attraction is going to go. And let's have some fun today. All right, before we go over there, I'm going to show you something here. All right, this is what I wanted to show everybody. If you go into Google search, like I'm showing you right here, type in NOAA, N-O-A-A, and then hurricane, and the first one will come up. It'll say, it'll give you any alerts for the area that we're in. As you can see, it says tropical storm warning, and then it'll say Hurricane Center, National Oceanic and Atmosphere Administration. Click that link, and you can see it shows the full website, and this is really, really nice because it shows all the hurricane and tropical storm activity pretty much anywhere you want to see it. So you can see down in the south there, south of the Gulf, there's Helene, which is the storm we want. And if you scroll up, it'll say Hurricane Helene, and then right here it says forecast discussions, number 9. If you click that, there is a full breakdown of what the hurricane hunters found and what they're predicting that this storm is going to do. This is some really good information in here. And then the other thing you can do is go over to warnings and cone static images right here. This is the latest up-to-date information from the National Hurricane Center of where this storm is going. Now, the one thing I want to tell you, this track, this is the center, okay? This is not the size of the storm. Please do not think that the area you see here in the white shaded area is the size of the storm. That is where they predict the center is going to go, okay? So it could deviate quite a bit from there. The path right now has this thing going towards what they call the Big Bend area of Florida. Now keep in mind, this could change another 10 times between now and tomorrow. As you can see now, 7 a.m. Thursday, it's only going to be in the southern Gulf. 7 p.m. tomorrow, it's going to look like it's going to be close to landfall. And then by Friday morning, it's going to be north Georgia. But this has already changed several times since just yesterday. Thursday all day, Thursday in the morning we were supposed to have the storm, and then by the nighttime we were supposed to be done with it. Now it's showing as 7 p.m. Thursday, just making landfall. And then what else you see here is you see these H's, and then M, and then S, and then D. The H means hurricane. M is major. That's major hurricane. That's category 3+, okay? That's somewhere between 3 and 5. So when you see these M's on there, you need to really be paying attention. And then S is tropical storm, D is tropical depression, and then it starts to fizzle out. This storm could potentially get up to 200, 300+ miles wide, which is why you don't want to focus on just that cone, all right? And as you can see, we're on the east side of this thing. So we're going to be on the dirty side. When you go back, there's a couple more things you can check. This is the rainfall forecast. This is as of current time. Okay, this is going to change again and again as this thing gets closer. We're probably over here in Orlando, and they don't have Orlando in the right spot here. We're kind of further west, and a little bit more north. However, we're probably going to land in this yellowish orange area, which if you look down here over here in the legend, that's somewhere between 4 and 8 inches of rain. That's a lot. So the other things you can do is you can check the arrival time of the winds, which right here, Wednesday 8 p.m., Thursday 2 a.m. You know, so tomorrow morning we should start feeling the tropical storm force winds. That's when those should arrive, but we're already starting to feel the outer bands right now, the outer gusts. And then what's the other? Oh, the flash flooding potential. So this is current time, so Orlando's in marginal, but just yesterday we were in the yellow slight, and then moderate could be the orange, and then the pink, which is the worst. Again, this is going to change several more times. But the biggest thing you can use this for is, I would say, this one right here. The warning cone and the static images. This is probably your best friend right here. But again, that's just the center of the storm, not the entire thing. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on this. The other nice thing is this updates every 6 hours on the 11s and the 5s. 11 a.m., 5 p.m., 11 p.m., 5 a.m. So you can check it every 6 hours. If there's a drastic change that was made, then they'll update it as soon as possible, and they'll just throw an update in there. So keep checking this. Again, whether a resident or especially on vacation, this is going to be your best friend for the next few days. All right? Hope that helps. And as you can see in the 2024 board of events, we're currently in the middle of the Seaworld Spooktacular and Howl-O-Scream. This is really cool. This is during the day, on the weekends. This is included with your paid admission or your annual pass. So adults and kids, you can come in and go trick-or-treating. It's complimentary. So anybody that didn't get into that overly priced Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party ripoff this year, you can come out to SeaWorld, and for your annual pass or the cost of a day's admission, you can do this as a compliment to your visit. And then at nighttime, Howl-O-Scream. And my favorite right there, the SeaWorld Christmas celebration. I cannot wait for that one. By the way, speaking of SeaWorld's Christmas celebration, let's go check the lagoon and see if we have some signs of Christmas, because we're getting about that point where they're going to start setting the Christmas trees up in the lagoon, because it does take quite a while to do. So to get over to the area we're going to, I'm coming through the waterfront area, and then we're going to cross the bridge over to the other side. We're going to break it on through to the other side. One of the things I imagine SeaWorld's going to start doing soon is they're going to move the capsule for the Sky Tower somewhere in the middle of the tower. They do that every time there's a big storm coming with high winds. What that does is that ties the cables to the tower so they don't slap the tower in high winds, because that's what makes that thing go up and down. There's a whole cable system you can see right here, and those cables move on a set of pulleys which moves the tower up and down and then makes it rotate. But when there's high winds, those cables, you hear them slap the tower, and that can damage them. So to prevent that, they'll take that capsule and they'll move it about halfway up, and they'll stop it there, and that'll hold the cables close to the tower. So this is the bridge we're going to cross over to get to where I'm pretty sure the new ride's going. And as of yet, no Christmas trees just yet. Just yet. But you can see, if you take a look right here, let's see if it'll show up. You see that white buoy floating in the water down there? That's a marker for where a Christmas tree will go. And if you can see all throughout the lagoon here, you can see those little buoys and posts. Those are where the Christmas trees are going to go. So this area, man, this is the brand new, well, not new, but it's newer designed. This is kind of the Arctic themed area, one of two. This is Icebreaker, the roller coaster. This thing's pretty neat. I've got a POV on this. It's some of my earlier vlogs. If I can figure out how to link this to the video, I will. When SeaWorld opened this a couple of years ago, this was the new Arctic themed area. This is also over by Wild Arctic. Believe it or not, before this coaster was even built, there was nothing here. This was just a restaurant. It's been a while, I forgot the name of it. It was basically like a burger joint. So in 2020, or late 2019, early 2020, they started construction on Icebreaker here, and obviously we know what happened in 2020, so that got delayed. They finished it in 2021 and then opened it later 2021. And it's a pretty neat themed coaster for the ice, but yeah, believe it or not, this restaurant with the blue roof right over here, that used to be the only thing over here. And so what they did was they combined some of the outdoor eating sections here into the queue line and built it into a Arctic themed roller coaster called Icebreaker. Then we got tons of Howl-O-Scream props up too, because we're right in the middle of that. But this is Altitude Burgers. This changed. Again, I forget what the name of this used to be. If I remember it, I'll tell you. But it changed to Altitude Burgers before Icebreaker opened up. And in this area right over here, this has kind of served as an all-purpose area for quite a while. Prior to 2020, this, if anybody remembers, was Wild Arctic. And if you don't, those that remember Wild Arctic, what do you think of the ride? I liked it. I thought it was very well done. It was an older ride. It was very rough. It was badly in need of a refurb. But I think because the parts and everything were so old, SeaWorld's just like, ah, heck with it. We'll just get rid of it. which is what they did after the parks reopened in 2020. They started slowly demolishing it, but the ride building is still here. But right here, these were a couple of the entrances. There's one, I think the other one was over here, because there used to be a ride queue where it was very well themed, and then there was a walk-through queue where you just walk through the exhibit. This ride is actually tied to a really neat exhibit, which we're gonna go see that in a few minutes. Like I said, for an older ride, this was incredibly themed. And right here on the ground, you can see where the old stanchions used to be. Or the other event that this area used to service was when SeaWorld had the contract during, I forget how many years they had it, because it's been 10 years since I've made my first visit here on Thanksgiving weekend in 2014. But SeaWorld used to have the rights to the Polar Express, and they would make this whole area into the Polar Express experience. And if I can find some photos, which I know I have, I'll plug them in. But right here, I know there used to be, I have some old photos of like the banners and the wreaths that would go here. And then somewhere in here was the Polar Express train. They had a big train set up and a bunch of like woods and really good theming to make it look like that scene where the train is speeding through the woods. It was well done, very well done. And then the ride, again, they had two versions of the ride. You could ride the ride itself, or you could go through the walkthrough of the actual exhibit that's back here. So I think these doors, I think they had two separate entrances. I think this one here, if my memory serves me correct, this was the walkthrough, and then this was the actual ride queue. And when you got to that door, both doors would be open, and one side would go one way and one would go the other way directly into the exhibit. And what was really neat is once you were done with the ride, you got off the ride and it went directly into the beluga whale exhibit, which again, I'm going to show you in a little bit here, is incredibly well themed. So the one time when I did this, when it was the Polar Express experience, I actually went and rode the actual ride, and the first part of the queue was where you went into the boys, it was like you're in his bedroom, and then the radiator and all that starts blowing off, and then you see the lights and that of the train passing by and then coming to a stop in front of the house, and then the doors open to the ride, and you hear the conductor saying, "All aboard, this is the Polar Express." And you got on the attraction, and it was a really cool, like Star Tours type version of the Polar Express. I loved it. And then when you got off the ride, everything was themed to the Polar Express. When this wasn't the Polar Express, this was the Wild Arctic, in the similar situation. You queued up here to walk through the attraction, you queued up here to go on the ride, and the normal ride was themed like you were getting on board like a helicopter type vehicle, and you were taking a trip to Antarctica. And of course they had the pre-show room where, you know, it was like you were getting ready for your flight, and then just similar to Star Tours, the doors would open and you'll take your seat, pull the seat belt across, tug on the yellow strap, you know, yada yada yada, and then you took a pretty cool ride to the Arctic. And then when you arrived in the Arctic, you got out and then it entered into the exhibit. So, since I've run my suck enough about this attractions and what used to be here, let's go take a look at what you would experience once you got off this ride. So right now they have the event map for Howl-O-Scream here, and we're kind of on the back stretches of Icebreaker, and this pathway takes you up to Bayside Stadium. And right here, so if you come out to SeaWorld before they go ahead and start this refurb and the new construction here, grab a photo of this, because this is pretty historic. The Wild Arctic hasn't been around here for a long time, and I'm not sure if they're going to keep that for history's sake or they're going to wipe that out and put something different up there. But there is also a statue of the polar bears, which they used to have polar bears inside here. And if you want to see this exhibit when you come visit, since this new attraction won't be done until next spring, just find this big semicircle building with all this fish on it and everything, and then you enter right in here. So looking around the shop here, I'm already seeing things where construction has started. This area right here where these construction walls are, that goes directly outside. That wasn't there before. And this is the actual exit of the ride right here. This is where you would come out. So once we take our tour, we'll exit right through here, and of course obviously out to the gift shop. But also right here, there's some more Wild Arctic signage. So yeah, if you can and you're going to be here, I would say between now and at least Christmas time, grab a couple photos of these things, because this is it's history. So what you would do, all right, as we enter in through this way, these doors here, I can't remember if they used to remain closed or how this worked, but where you see these construction walls, this used to be the exit doors of the Wild Arctic Theater. And I believe there was some more back that way. It was like Star Tours where they had multiple theaters and they would all exit out. But you used to exit out right through here. And then you had a choice. You could go this way, which you're going to go into the exhibit. Or you could go back this way and just go straight out to the gift shop. However, this is one of those exhibits that's definitely not to be missed. Or I'm going to guess that this is going to be set up similarly, where one of the exits will be here, and then another one of the exits will be down there. Like, they probably are going to have multiple theaters. And then right here, this is Base Station Wild Arctic, and this is the main exhibit in here. And see, I like the signage here because it's got all passengers, just like you've arrived on helicopter. Yeah, there's some more work walls right through here. This is the area I was referring to as far as the theming and everything, and how it really, really, really gives you an amazing feeling like you've literally landed in the Arctic. You're in for a treat if you haven't seen this. So we're gonna pretend like we just got off the ride. We're gonna go check out Base Station Wild Arctic. And as I said before, you can tour this right now. Just look for the big building over by Icebreaker and Altitude Burgers. And look for the blue paneled glass with the fish on it. And walk into the gift shop and then come back, find Base Station Wild Arctic. And I like how you can hear the radio transmission, like you've just landed at an airport. And right here is the beluga whale exhibit. What I think is really neat is, just like in the penguin exhibit, Seaworld has the ability to change the lighting, so you can go all the way through sunrise and early dawn, through the early day, through midday, late day, sunset, and nighttime. So it keeps these animals on a schedule. And then this area here that looks like an upside down wrecked boat, this is where we're going to move next. This is why I say the theming in here, it is unbelievable. And then this area right back here where you see this pole of signs, this area they used to theme to the Polar Express. This was when you exited off the Polar Express experience. This was all done up to make it look like the North Pole in the movie Polar Express. And again, if I can get some photos, I'll insert them in right here. But even behind me here, this looks like a shipping container Connex box. This is where you would exit out of the attraction. So just like you're exiting out of like an airport terminal into the Arctic. Oh, and right here during the Polar Express experience also was the big Christmas tree, and Santa Claus was right here. You could meet and greet Santa here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to head on down. We're going to go through this wrecked ship here. I mean, even down to putting a canopy right there between the ship and this boardwalk style thing we're entering underneath. So just like they built this to a wrecked ship and want to keep the snow off of everybody. And if you look around, you got TVs, and these are old school TVs too, which is kind of cool. They took like flat screen TVs, but they still tried to make them look old school. And then even like the ventilation piping up ahead, you can hear it creaking. But this is where you would normally see the beluga whales, right in here. They must not be out right now, or they're taking a nap, because what you cannot see is behind all of this, there is a huge area for these animals. And it's kind of where they let them go to just, one, get their medical care, get relaxation away from guests. It's pretty impressive if you could actually see what's back behind here. When I did my tours here, my pre-employment tour, we actually came out of that cave right there. We obviously couldn't go past the opening because that's a pretty slippery surface there down into the water, and this water I think is 34 degrees. But it was really neat to see everything from the animal habitat. And then over here, this area where the penguins are hanging out, this used to be the old polar bear exhibit. This is where they used to keep the big guys. Same thing with this. The weather, or I'm sorry, the sunlight, daylight, nighttime changes, and there are times too, and I don't know how they do it, but they'll have every now and then you'll see the northern lights projected on the dome. It's pretty neat. You know, now that I'm looking for it, I never realized how much wild Arctic signage there still is around here. And in this area here, again, take a look at the top. It's like we're in a camp here. And this is like you're in their living quarters here. I mean, they got socks hanging up here. Got some bunk beds, old school radios. Snowy window.
Jim here at Outpost 1. Would you file those hooded seal photos in ArcticNet? I'd like to get them out to everybody as soon as we can.
And they have, I love how they have the radio going. I hope they keep all of this once they redo all this. I hope this stays as is. Oh, the walrus is out and about. Oh yeah, you can see here. See how they got clouds and that projected onto the dome? So it looks like here it's getting close to sunset. Oh, and here's the kitchen. Looks like maybe we got a little pre-workout or protein powder here. There's some really cool old school items in here. Oh, I gotta have coffee. And so then we leave the base station here. We'll go to the underwater research and the exit here. This part was really neat at Christmas time because obviously they have this all decorated, but during the Polar Express time when they had here, they had this all decorated with greenery, wreaths, and Christmas lights. And you can hear like the canned style of a radio. They were playing Frank Sinatra Christmas tunes, just like in the movie. Oh, this is, hey, it's the garment factory. Shake and bake, boys. Bought yourself a hot one first time out, kid. I can't hear this song without thinking about Backdraft, where they're driving the engine ladder down the city streets of Chicago to that garment factory fire. Anybody remember the movie Top Secret when Val Kilmer asks, what's this guy's name, Chocolate Mousse, what's he's drinking? And then he says, hey, you want a sip? He goes, yeah. And he takes a big old swig of it and spits it out. He goes, oh, what the hell is that? He goes, gasoline. Oh, a little preview for Christmas time. You know, I'm not sure if this is here year-round or if this is a just one of those neat things they do to let you know that Christmas time is around the corner and we're getting ready to decorate. That's kind of neat. They used to have a lot of these interactive exhibits down here. A lot of these don't work anymore, but you used to be able to time yourself, like with your breath holding ability and all that, to the dive animals in the Arctic. Like harbor seal can hold its breath for 27 minutes. Walrus 10, beluga whale 20, polar bear for 2. Yeah, see, this goes back to the days when they used to have the polar bears here, like I was saying earlier. And then down here is the underwater viewing area, and there's our walrus buddy. Like I said, when you're down here, even, like I said, take a look at the ceilings too. There's so much detail. Oh, and I forgot to show you when I walked in here, there's a giant block of ice too. I got excited to show this whole area off, and I forgot about the block of ice. This was another interactive area too over here. This was like also a kids play area. Like I said, I hope when they redo this ride, they kind of breathe some new life into this area. Because the other thing they used to do, this was all decorated down here during Christmas time. They used to have Christmas trees down here, all kinds of stuff. And then this is another thing. I don't remember this being here. This is like maybe an upside down ship or something. There's an old mirror with some stuff written on it down there. Either that or it's a photo or something. Yeah, I don't. Either that or this hasn't been lit up before and they finally just restored it and lit it up, but I don't remember this being here. Oh yeah, so some of the writing. Oh yeah, there's the desk. It's upside down. So yeah, this is still the. This is like to represent an upside down ship still. And then here we go. We're gonna exit out. Oh, they've got some Hollow Stream events back here. In years past, when the Polar Express contract expired and they just turned it to a general Christmas event, this was where Santa Claus had his meet and greets down here. And having been here before, this line for Santa Claus would start here and it would go all the way back through this entire exhibit. It got long. Now we're going to exit out of Base Station Wild Arctic, and you'll see when we come out, we're kind of back to where we started. On the days when I work out here as a medic, I love to walk through this building early in the morning or late at night after the parks, either right before the parks open or right after they close and there's nobody down here. Very peaceful. See, now it's like we've again landed at Base Station Wild Arctic here, and there's the scrolling sign there. And then right here, you can see all passengers. And I think right here, this was also another exit area here where people would come out. And you could avoid, if you didn't want to walk the exhibit, you come out that way too, I think. Well, here we are. That was our Wild Arctic experience. And this, like I said, is where I'm almost 100% certain now, after seeing work walls and hearing construction going on, that this is where the new ride's going to go. So there's Base Station Wild Arctic. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Oh man, you can see the big storm clouds starting to develop from the outer bands of the storm. So this is the building. Once again, this is the whole Wild Arctic building. And that sign where it says Seaworld, that had the Arctic up here, and now you say Wild Arctic across. In fact, if you go look at this behind this, you can still see where they have the Antarctica up. So you can see right there the outline. That's what it used to look like from the front, and then it had Antarctica laid out on it. That's a perfect example of what it used to look like. Like I said before during my home vlog, this is going to be a great addition because SeaWorld very badly needs an indoor attraction or two or three to replace the ones that they got rid of. One being this one, which this one should be the new Flying Theater Arctic ride, and then Empire of the Penguin, which is now a roller coaster, Penguin Trek, and then they could use another one. They do have the room to do it, so I'm curious. But anyway, looking past here, there's the entryway where we were just standing, and right back there, it's hard to see because there's trees, but that big building back there, that's all the ride building, or the show building for this attraction. Wasn't too long ago they were doing some work up here. There was a crane up there and everything else, so my guess is that they've been doing some work on this for quite a while. So again, I can't wait to see what this is going to be like. This is going to be a really, really, really nice addition to this already amazing theme park. I'm going to zoom in once more. You can see how big the show building is too. It starts there, goes all the way across. You can kind of see it between the roofs, goes all the way back this way. So my guess is they'll have at least 2 or 3 theaters in there. What would be really cool is if they made it like Avatar, Flight of Passage. That would be incredible. So after doing some further reading, the Bermuda Triangle ride was the first ride to open in this area in 1992, and then Wild Arctic later replaced it in 1995. Apparently, as the Bermuda Triangle legend goes, nothing seems to work well, or there's always a lot of problems with the Bermuda Triangle, and apparently this ride was no exception. They had tons and tons of problems with it, and it only ran for a short time, and then later in 1995 was replaced with Wild Arctic, and then that's when the exhibit was also added as well. One thing I wanted to show you all too, this is also they've got a bunch of Hollow Scream merch here in this Arctic area. These are some of the new houses this year. They got some really neat themes from what I understand. And also, if you have some little ones that want to tour the houses but don't want to be scared out of their minds, you can buy this, turn that on, and that's a no boo necklace, and the monsters inside know when they see that flashing they won't scare you. That's kind of a neat that's a neat idea. So that way, you know, you always see people, they go, oh, I'd love to go through that, but I can't stand being scared out of my mind. Well, a kid or an adult can put that on, and as long as it's blinking, they won't bother you. But you can still explore the haunted houses. So that, ladies and gents, is the Wild Arctic area here at SeaWorld, including the walkthrough, the base station, where the old attraction used to be. You're going to have a new attraction here to bring new life into this exhibit that they have. It's a very well themed exhibit, I might add. And then you're going to have the altitude burgers. You're going to have a restaurant here, and then also the icebreaker roller coaster. So you have a really nice Arctic themed land here now, with 2 attractions, I might add. the flamingos are getting ready for incoming hurricane. Now, the one thing they will do is if it looks like it's going to be really, really bad, they have special places for all these animals so they can get them into safety. That was pretty cool. We're going to start heading out to the car now. We're already starting to get some of the outer rain bands. Walking back to the front of the park, we already walked through a small little rainstorm. Well, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed that. A little insight as to where I'm pretty sure we're going to get our brand new attraction next year. Again, I'm excited for a flying theater style Arctic attraction. It's going to be great. Like I said, that's going to be a fantastic addition out there because one, it's going to add a second attraction over in that area, which is pretty much needed, and it's also going to add an indoor attraction, which is going to be nice, because especially during summertime, and even right now, like as we're kind of closing out hurricane season, you know, it's going to give people the ability to go and ride something when the outdoor rides close. Now, will the lines for that be long when the outdoor rides close? My guess is absolutely. But it's still going to give people the option to do something, and it will drive more traffic into that Wild Arctic base station area, which to me is it amazes me that people don't go over there because, well, one, I don't think a lot of people even know it exists there because it's not really well marked, and there's no attraction in there now, so people just probably walk by. They might walk by there while they're over by Icebreaker or Altitude Burgers and say, oh, it's a gift shop, but not realizing that there's a full-on, really well-themed and immersive exhibit inside there. So this is going to be really nice to bring traffic into that building. I'm curious as to what they're going to do with it, you know, as far as if they're going to retheme it, if they're going to leave it as is and dress it up. You know, that part, you know, obviously we'll see what happens. My guess is after Christmas time, as you get into the, you know, January, February, March time, my guess is we'll know if they're going to redo that a little bit, because obviously they'll close that whole area down. You know, the exhibit, the gift shop, everything. Or they'll just keep the gift shop open and then close the exhibit, or the other way around. Like, we'll know something's going on if we see work walls up and we can't get into the exhibit or the gift shop. Well, I'll keep you all posted. We'll check back on this periodically. I know, unlike a roller coaster, you know, or an outdoor attraction where you can physically see it being built, this is a little different because it's all indoors. So, you know, like I said, you know, we can check back from time to time to see if little things have changed. But I'm curious to see how they're going to do this. My guess is they'll utilize a lot of that pre-queue or the queue, and then we'll have the pre-show building or pre-show area, which should be pretty cool. And then the pre-show area will lead into the main attraction, which, again, I can't wait to see this. I'm very excited for this next year. You know, SeaWorld's been doing really, really well with their attractions, but it has been noted that as much as we all love roller coasters, some type of indoor family attraction was really, really, really needed here. So thank you, SeaWorld, for listening to everybody and bringing this to us. And again, I can't wait to see the details come forward on this as we move on through the rest of the year and into early next year. I would imagine this year at IAAPA, the big International Amusement Parks conference that's here in Orlando, that's usually when you see all of the latest and greatest for the following year. So for 2025, we'll see all of the new coaster trains from all the coasters that are going to be announced, a lot of the ride vehicles for the new rides being announced all around the world. And I would imagine they're going to have a pretty cool display for what this flying theater is going to be, because they're going to want to show that off to everybody. So I can't wait to bring all that to you. And somehow, some way, we're going to IAAPA this year. I'm going to bring you all to that. I've never been, but this is going to be the year. We'll figure it out. So I hope you all enjoyed this. Let me know if you're excited to ride this new ride. And also let me know in the comments, what else do you think SeaWorld needs to add after they're done with this one? What else could you see them bringing to this theme park that would be a good addition? Let me know, because I got some really cool ideas. One would be a ride or a roller coaster over that big lagoon in the middle. So what they used to do is there used to be a big water stunt show on that lake, that lagoon. But when they built that boardwalk in that goes across it, they don't do that anymore. But apparently it was a very well themed, very well acted out water stunt show. I have to look it up on YouTube, but apparently it was pretty cool. Well, my thing is, since they don't use it for anything other than just, you know, the Christmas trees at Christmas time, and then they use it for the summertime fireworks called Ignite, I think it'd be great to put some kind of really cool ride or roller coaster over that entire water area. That would be really neat. So that's my idea. Let me know what you all think. Have a fantastic week, everybody. If you're here in Orlando visiting, or if you are living here, please stay safe. Remember the NOAA hurricane thing I did earlier? Keep checking that at least till this storm is well past us. They'll give you updates constantly every 6 hours. Remember, on the 11s and the 5s. Kind of like the Weather Channel on the 8s. So, I'll see you all again soon. Today, this has been the truth, and it's been actual. And I hope for everybody out there watching, it was mighty satisfactual. See ya.